Hello, everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I'm Shanique.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about TV shows, music, and movies, and any other interesting topics. I did almost mess that up, though.
First try. First try.
Yeah, first try. Today's episode is going to be about the Netflix original series, Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Now, I'm torn. I don't know if I like it. It's like, it's entertaining, and it took me a while to get into it, because at first I was like, the fuck am I watching? And what did Michael pick? Cause this is fucking weird. But it took a while for me to actually laugh, Turns out the adults and the hormone monsters were the ones that made me laugh more than the children. Um but I don't know. It's a show that I would watch, but it's not on my must watch list, you know what I mean?
hmm
So overall I'll give the show like season one, I'll give it a B. Not bad. Not that great either. But it's still interesting watching it. It will hold your attention. Maybe not for the right reasons. I can't
Yeah, I'd
guarantee you
agree.
for the right reasons. But
That's a
you
good
will,
disclaimer.
yeah, you would definitely have fun watching it. I'll give you that much. So, Michael, opinions? Would you give the great grade for season one?
I give season one a B plus. Like the reasons I don't really I brought it down from like an A because it was really close to like it's an A, but like my reasons are really nitpicky to me and not listening to like a general population. Like to me, it's using like a really old school type of animation, and two, it's like it's such a good message for the wrong audience because it's
Is
it's
it
meant it's
though?
it's it's meant for kids for adults, which is really weird. Because while I was watching, I was like, this is one of them things that's going to help kids, along in their journeys and growing up and whatnot. But for whatever, like they threw like a whole bunch of like real crude humor in there, and
See,
they made it really like not PG-13. So I'm like, oh well, that sucks. But I see that the message is there. I mean, granted, even some adults do need this kind of education, but
you know,
you clearly know who the target audience was since it's around middle schoolers. But go ahead. Sorry about that.
what's funny? I thought it was more of a satire on like puberty. I didn't actually think it was actually trying to like really tell you it because it was giving bad advice. Like, like, like the scene. Spoiler alert! I'm gonna put that out there. There will be spoilers. Where he fucks a pillow and gets
hmm
her, and then the pillow talks and gets pregnant. That would confuse the shit out of a child. You know what I mean? That's not helpful to a kid who's like trying to learn about their bodies.
Well, see,
And like there was like
that that,
also
that wasn't really the message right there. The message right there was how to deal. Hey, don't do X, Y, and Z, or else you can have a kid, and you got to be around for the kid,
I
and
know,
you know
but I'm
all that other
saying
stuff.
like I don't think they're trying to reach kids at all, to be honest with you. Because why are the hormone monsters having sex? You know? And then like why are like I'm not even gonna get into some of the things these people are saying. But like also the things that are happening in Jay's house, that's just abuse.
Yeah.
And there were other little things I was like, this does not seem like it's targeted towards kids. It just seems like it's mocking puberty in a weird way.
No, no. Yeah, I completely understand. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, this is kind of the things like I know it's not marketed to kids because of the crude humor, like I said before. But it's like in a way, I don't know, because I feel like a part of them knows kids are gonna watch it anyway. I don't think they're gonna watch to learn anything. But like if they do along the way, then sure, it maybe one less kid ends up being confused about what's going on with their body or like how they
This would
feel about something.
confuse them even more, though.
I mean, if I watched it at their age, I wouldn't be confused. But it depends on who how smart the kid is and what they've been exposed to so far. So
It
it's
depends
gonna come down to
on
the
how
individual.
impressionable they are, too. Because
That
if they
too.
just
Yeah, you're
believe
right.
with everything they're saying, they're going to be confused as fuck.
I mean, yeah, that's very true. Like I think these were like what middle schoolers. I feel like in middle school I'd known the majority of this stuff, but like a lot of middle schools out there don't know the vast minimal of the stuff. The smallest parts of the stuff. So it's like sure, kids have access to their Netflix accounts, and not a lot of them are using Netflix Kids, and we all know that. The same way kids have access to the internet, we probably know they're doing weird stuff with that too. So it's like, okay, if they find something here to learn something from, then it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't believe that's gonna happen. But they had some really good moments. I guess we can get into our favorite characters like we normally do.
Sure.
So, I'm gonna give my top three. So, number one is Andrew, and only reason I say Andrew is because I felt he got the most character development, even though they kind of like took some of that away with the last episode, but whatever on that. I felt like he was probably one of the most normal ones besides Jesse on the entire show, but he was still doing things that made me sad. I guess Nick was pretty normal too, but I didn't like him till the second half of the season. I didn't really like him the first half. But Andrew, I consistently liked him, and he did question the hormone monster. I did like that. Marty or Maury, my bad.
Yeah, Marty's somebody else.
Yeah, and I like that he was genuinely a nice guy. He just was just going through shit. And then I actually did like. I'm gonna put Connie and Maury as the same person
Hmm.
because they're
Hmm.
basically the female and male versions of each other, which are the hormone monsters. They were the most funny to me. They made me laugh. Connie, okay, as a girl who went through puberty, I did not hate my mother. The way she was telling Jesse to hate Shannon. Like that scene, like the episode where she gets her period, that didn't resonate with me. That seemed like some white girl shit. I would have got hit in like the face if I even tried that. Turning around saying, "No one loves you, Shannon. No one asks you, Shannon." That wouldn't happen in my house.
First name and everything.
I know. If I called my mother by my first name, wouldn't even. That's just disrespectful. Especially if I'm
Hmm.
yelling at her too. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I didn't really get that episode, but every episode after that, especially like probably what at least I think one of my favorite episodes with Connie would be the one with Jesse's mom, the second to last episode, the with her bat mitzvah, which I thought only boys got that, but whatever. And then also the episode with Gustavo, and where she was appearing to even the older
Fatima.
women.
Yeah.
Fatima. Um, and then Maury, I guess still will be one of my favorite scenes where he meets Jay, because Jay seems to not know who the fuck he is, and he calls him a little freak. I think that's when they get trapped. They have the sleepover at Jay's house.
Yeah.
That's a really good episode for him. I also like the episode again, which was Jesse's bar mitzvah, where he was meeting Connie and they was making. No, I'm sorry, the episode before that with the party at
Oh,
Nick's
right, with
house.
the candy liquor or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His sus ass dad. And he he was like making all those jokes, and I like his negotiation with Connie and everything. I thought that was pretty good. And then round out my top three, even though technically it's four, but the hormone monsters to me are just the same characters, different genders. I'm gonna give it to Jay.
Okay.
Oddly enough, because he had to grow on me. Because every time he used to come on screen for like the first four episodes, I was like, oh, hey, I know which type of character you are, but no. And then I got used to him, and I love every time he was on there, even though he's a fucked up kid. Fucked
Yeah,
up
just a
head to
little bit.
toe. The whole family just fucked up. Like, ugh. Like, he would say things, like, he said, oh, like, one thing. I actually like his relationship with Jesse.
I
I,
thought that was weird, but nah.
I saw it
Especially because
coming.
they ran away. I was like, okay, this is clearly like a setup for next season, but it's a weird thing. Like their relationship was just sort of forced because she even said like she just felt like kissing somebody, and then he actually won the relationship. But I guess it's more serious now since you're running away with him. So I guess that's a thing.
To me, it felt like the typical like. So they hook up drunk, but she liked it, so they keep doing it, and then he actually starts to like her, and then she's like, I can get used to you. I mean, those type of relationships happen, oddly enough to me. So I was like, all right. I personally never had that experience, but I know people who like a drunken hookup becomes like a thing. And that's
Hmm.
basically what there was. And it's kind of weird because I definitely knew she was never gonna get back with Nick because Nick is boring. He's the second the most normal person on the show. Actually,
I'd
he's probably
agree.
more normal than Andrew because Andrew and Marty be having weird ass conversations. So he's probably the most normal kid on the show.
Right.
Besides maybe Nick's sister, Leia, I think her
Yeah,
name is
Leah or Leah. Yeah, something like that.
Leah. Yeah. Besides her and like Missy.
Right. Yeah. She's as long as she don't got no sugar in her system, yeah, she's more or less dorky, but normal dorky.
Yeah. So besides that, yeah. So that's my top three, and then I guess the only character I really just did not like is honestly, probably Jay's dad. Could give two
I'm
fucks about that piece of shit.
surprised you didn't say the gym teacher.
The gym teacher, I didn't care enough to give him a ranking. That sounds so bad, but he was just blanky you missed it for me. He didn't bother me. He seemed to bother you, but he didn't bother me. So what are your top three?
My top three. I think two of the people in your list are on my list because I'm not gonna. I guess I can count Kanye too. But yeah, the two homo monsters, not the third old guy. That no, we're not gonna talk about him. He's on there for like 2 seconds, but we're gonna leave that alone. But yeah, and I'm doing this mine in no specific order, but like they're the two funniest parts of the show, mostly because like that's a lot of where the satire is coming from. Cause that's what they're portraying. Their growth as like this little thing in the back of their head that's making them do different things. Especially like Andrew's relationship to Maurice or Maury or whatever everyone calls him. Their relationship was like almost relatable, very exaggerated, but I feel like a lot of kids can like get an idea of what puberty might have been like if like if it had like
Mm-mm.
a physical form pretty much.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, I'm saying it's greatly exaggerated. I don't I see what you're hearing and think I'm saying, but I'm just saying it's greatly exaggerated, but it's kind of
Extremely.
along those lines. Yeah, greatly, extremely, humongously. You get the idea.
Ginormous.
Um, since you already had Jay on your list, he's also one of mine because I feel like the demographic that I was talking about, like kids who might be watching this and completely need to learn something, he's that guy who needs to learn the most.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
I feel like kids who are the most like him, the ones who like the messed up households and whatnot, probably getting bullied, kind of emotionally erratic. Because like I know in the beginning he was definitely crazy about like his magic tricks and like a whole bunch of other stuff. Like he came off like almost schizophrenic at some point, bipolar or something like that. But like his heart's always in a good place. Party Wolf, oh, Party Wolf, man, he deserves to be on my list. And third and lastly, I will actually give this to someone who I didn't know I would like. I'm going to give it to Duke Ellington. And you know what? Tell you what, no, just Duke Ellington. Because I was going to count the other ghosts, but like they're in there for like seconds at a time, so I can't really say them. But Duke Ellington seems like, even though he delivers his advice in a very semi-shady way sometimes, especially when Andrew talked to him about possibly being gay or something like that. He technically gives good advice. Like you get like kids watching this probably won't see the actual good advice in it. Cause like for me, if I picked around in it, I was like, that actually wouldn't be that bad if you just delivered it a lot differently. Like you're too busy making songs out of like the plights that they're going through right now. But other than that, Duke Ellington was cool. He was a regular character in the show. He for some reason came off as one of the adults that you actually could talk to. Because I think the two Jewish families, I guess I don't know. Andrew's parents are a little weird, especially his dad. His dad won't listen, and his mom is very conservative. And I think in the other household, Nick's parents, his parents were just
I love Nick's
too out there.
parents.
Especially his dad. His dad was way too out there. His
Oh,
mom was,
TMI, TMI, TMI.
yeah, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. And I could even say the same thing about the mom, because the mom just wanted to like. There was a line in the first episode where she like, I just want to put you back inside me and keep you there forever. At this point, I'm like, this is turning into a really dark show because she needs to go to jail. She's going to do something dangerous. But yeah, that's where my top three are. I have no real characters that I hate. I did like the coach the least only because like he was a comic relief in a show with a lot of comic reliefs. Because I thought in his own way, Jay and the Hormone Monster were comic reliefs, and everyone else in their like short sporadic moments in certain episodes could be comic reliefs. And then he just had no play in anything. Like you're just a guy who's really weird, like really, really weird. But it's okay though. I see the point of him because like I guess they just need to round off one more teacher in the school that actually had a part to play in the show, and that's where I'm at with that.
Okay, let's go with I guess favorite episode. Now I
Hmm.
basically kind of implied what my favorites were, but just definitely Nick's party. Well, I guess
Hmm.
Leela's party episode, and I like it because one, you got to see a softer side of Jay, because before then he was just piece of shit. Um, but it's funny, but still a piece of shit. I love. I kind of like how they took Andrew and Missy's relationship
Hmm.
because he couldn't handle it, and so he acted all weird and shit. And then I liked what happened with Leela, how you kind of saw the opposite side of the coin. Even though I can't believe that the throw up gave that boy cancer and he died, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. We're gonna look past that. Um, I didn't really care for Nick in the episode, but until the end, I like Jessie as well. I felt bad for her finding about her mom,
Hmm.
yeah, and all that shit. And then also the bat mitzvah, which one I see why Jessie's mom is cheating. It's bad, like, but she's not happy, and she might be gay, but neither here nor there.
Might be.
No judge. No,
Might
I
be.
mean she could be bi. You know what I mean?
Sure.
What? She didn't say she didn't like men. She just said she also liked women. So she definitely could still be bi.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna rule that out. But if she's not, that marriage is over. And if she is, that marriage is over. Cause like I don't know. I don't see the husband like taking her back or her wanting to go back. Cause she's always yelling at him and he's always smoking. So that marriage is a piece of shit. Um, there was also what I also liked about besides the drama was the weird electric slide scene. That shit
Yeah.
was happy. That shit was like fucking funny to me. Especially when that gay guy was singing his heart out. Like he was like, I'm about to steal this show. I'm Beyonce. The rest of you are Kelly. Michelle. That's basically what he was doing.
Pretty much.
And I don't really know that gay guy's name. He doesn't really do anything to me because this typical gay guy stereotypes don't really work for me in cartoons. Like in when it's like a real life person doing it, it's different. But cartoon doesn't really work. I'm just like, what? But that electric slide scene was probably like the most funniest scene to me. And everyone was so happy singing it. And then what really made it funny was like afterwards, everyone got real awkward.
Yeah. They
And they,
realized it started on a bad note and like, they danced for a little bit to forget about it, then real life came back.
yeah, even though that was the weirdest electric slide, but maybe the electric slide is hard to draw. Anyway,
Maybe that too for real. You're right.
that was more like I don't know, a hustle, maybe a hustle. I don't know. Don't really know old like line dances like that. And then what else I liked about that episode? Overall, I had no complaints about that. It was probably the most interesting to me. And then I felt like oddly enough, I would have cut the scene of Jesse and Jay running away in the last episode. And then I would have, oddly enough, I would have just put that at the end of the Bat Mitzvah episode, and then have that be the season finale. I thought that would make more sense. I would cut the last episode in general. I don't really care about the. I guess that's my least favorite. The porn episode. Could care
Yeah,
less. And
I
that was
kind of
like the
agree.
weirdest porn that they were describing.
The Italian stallion, man.
Poor
Hey,
Sylvester
hey,
Stallone.
Jesse, that's great. Hey, that's great. This is great. That's great. If you take a shot for every time he says great in that show, you will die 100 times.
You'll be really fucked up.
Most certainly.
Okay, what about you? What's your favorite episode?
Before I even get to that, I got two things that you got my chest called. I should have said it before. But a shout out to Nick's brother, Judd. I forgot how funny he was. Like he's only in the show for like seconds at a time. Probably in only 2 episodes where he
Oh, I
actually
know what
had
you're talking about.
lines.
I know what you're talking
Judd,
about.
his brother Judd, yes. He is the oldest of the three of them. Him, Leia, and Nick. And he is hilarious. Like they definitely make him a background character, but if you want to do a background character that has like no story to him, make him as strong a personality as that. Especially because like he's just so weird. Like he says, "I don't hate you, little brother. I just want to see you get your little dinger wet and see the world burn," which is two weirdly conflicting goals to have at the same time. But I like him though. He was kind of a creepy guy, very loner type, almost emo.
Kind of creepy.
Maybe,
Didn't he hide in
maybe
the painting?
yeah, he was hiding. I'm in the walls. I see everything.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, he was a little weird, but I liked him. I actually wanted more Judd. And I do agree with you when you say that. Like, I didn't mind the last episode, but I do mind the last episode being the last episode because I feel like the drama kind of got heightened by the whole bat mitzvah thing, and I feel like a lot of the story stuff was happening right there. Like, I think that's where Missy told Andrew, "This is it." That's where Jesse's storyline came to a head, and it's like Jay and Jesse. Like me, I'm always going to think like it's a forceful thing, but not only did you force it, but like you gave them so much to work with for like next season, which it doesn't make me hate the show, but it does make me question the way that they lined everything up. The point episode was a little weird, but I'll get to my favorite episode now because I'm talking about everything else. My first episode was the one that I found most relatable, Gustavo and Fatima. The episode that name was.
How the fuck?
That episode was hilarious to me because it was about guys learning. I'm not going to make this into a sex ed podcast, so I'm going to keep this very brief. It's about guys learning that girls think similarly to the way that they do, just not so much as outwardly. And I was like, that was that point in my life too, where I realized, wow, I guess girls kind of want the same thing, but just not in the same way. And I thought that was hilarious because it was cool seeing their learning process on that. And by learning process, I mean that their heads exploded. Even the Homo monster's head exploded. And I was like, why does he know about this? Connie should have been told you, but whatever. But yeah, that was hilarious to me. And I think that was the episode where no, it wasn't. Okay, I thought that was the episode where after the where like Nick lies about the breakup, but I don't think that was it.
No, that
But
was
yeah,
way before that.
yeah, you're right, you're right. I know I'm getting it mixed up. But yeah, I just thought that as far as guys go, like girls have episodes in there where like, you know, it's more so girl centric so that girls can have something to learn out of the show as well. But this is probably the one episode where I found later because like that's kind of where I was in my life. Like my head actually exploded when I learned the same thing. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cool to see it on TV and to see how they react to it and move forward with that new information. Which Jay did it completely wrong. I feel like when guys learn about it, that's what they're gonna do. But like, yeah, I think they need to show the examples though. Like, hey, this is how to do it and how not to do it. Don't learn anything from Jay. But yeah, that was my favorite episode right there.
Yeah, look, honestly, I say you don't learn anything from this show at all. No. It's too out there the way it presents itself. But it's still funny. It's still funny for the most part. For the most part.
I mean, I disagree, but to each their own.
Like, I feel like I'm just trying to think. If I was 11-year-old Shanique, me watching this would be like, what the fuck is this? I wouldn't be like, oh, really? Yeah, yeah. Now I wouldn't really think that way. But that's just me. Maybe another kid would watch this and actually learn something. Or if you're an adult learning something, better late than never, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, um, but yeah, it's not really like, in my opinion, I don't really think you can learn it because of the way they present it. It's like, even though like a good example would be like when Family Guy tries to like kind of give off a message by using satire, but because it's so extreme, it might fly over your head. Some of the themes might fly over your head. Actually, funny enough, I think the episode that you mentioned was probably the best episode of years that I think that like a kid would get, except for the part with Jay. But he got choked out, so it's okay.
Yeah. I think girls
And
can learn something from that too. This what to do when a guy tries to play you on some stuff like, hey, I know you want me. Just lift him up with one arm? Yeah, I think
okay,
Andrew said something about that too, because she was just like, Jesse is really strong.
yeah, like that just ridiculous. I was like, what? Also, bringing back to that romance storyline, like with Fatima and Gustavo. No, those books never work on me either, in like real life. Actually, I could read a book and be like, oh, but not like I kind of like what they talked about, like the forbidden romance, the what could be. That's what makes the book romantic and sexy. Not the full on 50 Shades of Grey.
Hmm.
We just getting it where we get it in every possible situation. Which the more I learn about that book and the more I read from it, because I read some of the stuff from it. What the fuck is that? Like, this is a tangent. I don't care. So there's a scene in 50 Shades of Grey that I heard where Christian pulls out Anna's tampon so they can have sex, right? Yanks it out. And in my mind, I'm thinking, how is that sexy? You're a guy. Does that scream sexy to you?
I remember you telling me about the scene to me, yeah, telling it to me. I don't know what that since it was so complicated, but obviously not, and obviously that kind of I don't know. I think there are certain things in that book that are definitely hit or miss. Because clearly it's successful for a reason, but I don't think it's going to be successful because this part was included. I feel like that just takes away from its success. But you know what? That's just me. That's not something guys want. Honestly, do because I know some. Wow, this is turning into a weird podcast. But yeah, I know it happens. I know people out there like that kind of stuff, but I don't know. That's I'm a little too
Hey,
hygienic for all that.
to eat. Ah, I could say something, but it's inappropriate. Anyway, my mind went left. What was I talking about? Yeah, but like I got the appeal to Fatima, except for the horse thing. That was just fucking weird. But I got the appeal of the story, and I got like I think it was supposed to be a satire of 50 Shades, where like all the girls were like fawning over the book and all that stuff. And I like what made me start liking Nick was actually in this episode because he like read the passage from the
Hmm.
book just to get girls to look at him, and I was like, pretty smart for a kind of stupid person.
Hmm. Abuse the system, man. That's how you do it.
Anyway,
Good for you. Good for you, Nick. Good for you. That's the one guy who didn't even hit puberty yet has already learned the tricks of the trade. I mean, tricks of the trade. Good for him.
he still ain't got no girl though. But anyway,
Had a girl and technically a kiss.
and technically got dumped because he's
So
foreign.
I think everybody got dumped in the show except for Jay at the last minute, even though he had a pillow run away on him. Whatever.
He still ain't getting none. Anyway, so what I was gonna say was we talk about that pillow episode?
I suppose.
Why? I don't understand. If that was the first episode I saw, I would never watch the show. It's so fucking weird. Like when they said he fucked his pill. And also, it's funny? What I also loved about Andrew was his reaction to whatever. Like I remember I sent you that quote where the hormone
Yeah,
monster
yeah,
was
yeah.
saying that the butt down shirts like turn
Yeah.
him on because he saw his buttholes and like one butthole and like a bunch of clits, and I was like, hey, whatever works. I don't know if that's how guys think. 'Cause you never saw the girl hormone monster thinking like that.
I mean, she only had like one episode, I think, with Andrew and Missy, where like she was kind of like trying to get Missy to go do the same thing Andrew wanted to do, but like she never got extreme. She like I think the male homo monster is a lot more out there than the female one.
Yeah, he's like all the way out. She was more like mad and shit. Like she was getting mad, and it's funny. I think Connie's like played by a black woman. The way she sounds,
Yeah, there's a point where she was singing where I thought that, but I'm not even too positive about that because
you
maybe
never know.
yeah.
You never know, but that's what it sounded like. Very sassy woman playing her, and it's funny because like it's funny how they portray guy hormones versus girl hormones. Like, and I'm gonna get back to the fuckery of the pillow episode, but the girl hormones were either more angry, very sad, and occasionally horny. The guy hormone was like always on everything. There was no, and then maybe a little bit sad when he got dumped by Missy, but that was it.
Hmm.
And I was like, So basically, based on this show, guys are either sad or horny, or really pissed. Cause I remember he made them get angry at the when Nick and Andrew were fighting each other at Jay's house. And then, but mostly horny though. And then the girl hormone is mostly angry and sad.
Yeah, you're
And it's like,
emotional.
yeah, mostly emotional. And I was like, I don't know if that's true, but depending on the girl, I guess. And I thought that was a really good contrast. I got what they were trying to say there. Girls and guys think differently. I think by now everyone knows that. And then, like, Jay, you never see him with the hormone monster, like, on his own. You know what I mean? Like, you see Andrew, you see Jess, but the hormone monster never appears to him. So, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that Jay is so far past the hormone monster that can't help him? Or, like, why doesn't Jay. Well, how come we never saw Jay with the hormone monster? Like, we know why Nick hasn't, because he hasn't hit
Yeah, hit
puberty.
puberty. Hmm.
But we saw Missy and we saw Jesse. But why did we never see Jay? Because he's already fucking pillows and, ugh, the bath mat. Nigga, who would touch his dick after that? Knowing that. Because he actually tells people what he does. No. Just run away. Away,
Yeah,
Jay. Like, don't go near that. Please don't go near that. But I don't get it. Like, why does he have a hormone monster? Because he clearly has very intense hormones. Or maybe he's just so fucked up that the hormone monster's like, Marty's like, nah, you good. You good. You don't need me telling you anything. You got this. Answer?
yeah. No, no, no. See, I was trying to make sure I didn't like eat my next sentence, but I was agreeing because like he's definitely probably one who's probably hit puberty because like he's way more overactive than Andrew. Andrew just misfires a lot, but Jay he's getting creative to the point where it's like if he had one, it really should be Maury because like they get along great. And before I even go any further, Maya it's played by Connie's played by Maya Rudolph.
Oh, yeah,
Very
yeah, okay.
interesting.
She's mixed, so it's kind of right.
But yeah, yeah, I was just thinking Jay. Yeah, he's good on his own. Like I feel like everyone technically could have had their own hormone monsters, but like I feel like it would have been too easy if they put it with Jay. Like I know it's definitely a show that doesn't take itself too seriously when it comes to lessons. So it's like, it shows it easier to learn a lesson from Andrew's point of view, I guess, especially Andrew and Nick's. Because they take it both differently, even though Nick isn't even there yet. Well, I don't know. He's on like the line of getting there. I'm assuming. But yeah, it was interesting how they use Jay because listen, I
He's
know
a
it's like a
fucking
broken record.
mess.
I know I sound like a broken record, but like, you need to show a broken child's view on like who has like no education on this kind of stuff and how they deal with it. And I feel like Jay was like the easiest person to do that. Like at least Andrew has some idea, but like he has way more self control than Jay did.
Okay, like I don't even think of not even having an education. Cause he knows some things. I just think he's a fucking idiot. To be
Hmm.
completely honest, he's just a dumbass about everything. I mean, he showed that he can be better than certain things, but he's just a dumbass. He
Right.
has feelings, but he's not real, so I don't care. Now let's get to the parents. Wow. My favorite set of parents, which I know Michael's gonna hate, is Nick's parents. I thought they were the funniest. I thought they had the most personality. And as much as their TMI overshare, and even though apparently they have sex for 12 hours and 1 minute, because
Hmm.
when we saw that scene, I was like, oh, it's a minute. Then he's like, oh, that's a whole 12 hours. I'm like, nigga, you started from 8:30 to 8 in the morning.
Right.
Like, what the hell? Like, apparently, even though they clearly love each other and they're very much sexually attracted to each other still, and that's a very good thing. But they don't need to tell their kids. They don't.
Yeah.
They could keep that in their bedroom. And they get turned on by everything. The light turns on. They're like, oh, remember when the light turned on our honeymoon? Or the kids are talking to each other about sex. Isn't it great that we raise kids that can talk to each other? You look good. Like, they do shit like that. And I'm like, everything turns them on. But hey,
Yeah.
that's. I don't even know if that's a bad relationship per se. It's just very out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a doctor, nothing like that, but I'm glad that they have that healthy factor to their life, even though it might be a little too healthy. Because like, I know at one point he was like, "I wish we could go on like a date." Like I think they said like, "Yeah, I would love to go on a date with you more than anybody else," something like that. Or like I said before, the mom wanted to put him back inside him. I was like, I think that parent child relationship line is getting a little blurred in their relationship in that household, but. I don't know. It never seemed like it went like they did anything illegal, obviously, but in their head something messed up is happening.
Well, I think they're supposed to be, and there's some parents who overshare like that with their children.
Hmm.
And so I don't think, personally, I don't think it's something wrong per se. I just think it's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing
Like,
wrong either. I'm just saying it's a little something you can raise your eyebrow to. Like, hold up,
there's nothing wrong while you raising your eyebrow.
it could be something weird. I raise my eyebrow to weird things. I'm
mm.
agreeing with you here, but I just react differently.
Yeah, I love them. I thought they were funny every time they showed up on the screen. I was like, yo, experience the shit. Um, then there was Andrew's parents, which his father actually annoyed me. I don't know what the hell his mother see in the dad. And him with his damn scallions. Like, stop eating them.
Oh, the scallops, yeah.
Scallops, yeah. Please stop eating them. When he dressed up as a horse, I was like, oh god, they're having horse sex. And then Marty kept talking about his big ass balls. I'm like, why?
All
Why?
the way through the credits. Marty, yeah, this guy is funny.
Yeah, that was funny though, but I was like, ugh, I don't want to imagine that. I don't get how they work because he would irritate me. But
What you mean?
hey, love is funny, you know.
Yeah, that's. I know, like a lot of shows show that too. Like the parents just like having no romantic attractiveness to each other or something like that, and it's like you know the show just kind of works its way around it by giving them maybe one or two spots where like everything's working out. I mean, his was kind of easy to work out. He just didn't feel like putting down the scallops. Like, oh, I got some Rolaids though. It'll fix it, no problem. I'm like, no, that's because the wife even went through the process of getting dressed up and doing all this extra stuff that she saw that she thought looked good in the book, so she wanted to try it in real life. Her effort was good, but Marty's was not. Because one, he kept eating scallops, and two, just as a horse. And obviously, he didn't read the book because Gustavo was not a horse.
No,
But
according to the
hey,
book, he was a horse.
yeah, but like they never assumed that they made love to each other while like At all, first of all, or while he was a horse, is what
Well,
I'm trying
I
to
mean,
say.
yeah, yeah. I think his interpretation was, oh, it's about a horse. So he's like, oh. But I'm like,
Yeah,
if now, here's my question: if your wife was reading a book and it's about a woman who was fucking a horse, man, wouldn't you side eye her? Just saying.
I tell her to not tell me what the hell she's reading from now on.
Little
Like, listen,
bestiality going on there.
clearly this is none of my business. So long
Nah.
as nobody outside, nobody knows about this, 'cause I can keep it secret. I don't know if nobody else can. So it's like, yo, just shut your mouth and don't talk about this no more.
Oh damn! Shut your mouth. Anyway,
Hmm.
do you have any closing remarks? Do you have anything else to talk about?
No, as far as closing remarks, like I said, it's a show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Definitely about sex ed, but for some reason it's for kids, but not for kids. It's for adults. But adults should already know this kind of stuff. So technically, kids should be the ones learning it. But the humor's too crude. Whatever. I don't know. Watch the show, you'll figure it out. And I actually feel like Netflix is pretty good on like their more like adult oriented like animated shows. Because BoJack Horseman was another really good one. Definitely not the same theme. Because that one did a good job getting to 3 seasons. Last season happened, I think, this summer. But I believe that this is a step in the right direction. Like I might not have the same opinion as Shani because I actually really like this show. Maybe it's just my kind of humor. Maybe it's just because I like seeing another version of kids learning this kind of stuff, or maybe it's because of Maury. Because Maury kind of sold the show for me. He's such a good representation of male hormones at that age, in a very exaggerated way. In a very exaggerated way, because I knew Shanique was going to say something. I was just waiting for her to make some noise. In a very exaggerated way, obviously. Because it's easy to make comedy out of if it's if you take the science out of it and all the realism out of it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the show.
Okay. So my closing remarks is I say give the show a try, but I don't think the humor is for everyone.
Hmm.
And like personally, I disagree. I just thought they were trying to make a satire. I don't think they're trying to teach anything. But if someone can watch it and learn something, hey, that's cool. I think it's like Netflix version of like Family Guy or something like that. Even though I'm more of a American Dad type person these days. Neither here or there. I say check it out. I'm torn. I don't hate the show, but I'm not in love with the show like Mike is. So you see, our opinions differ. I think you can at least find one episode that's funny. If you're into crude humor. If you're not, eh, hey, not all comedies for everybody. So guys, let us know what you think of Big Mouth. Do you think we were too easy on it? Do you like, oh, this show's trash? We want to know what you guys think. You can leave comments on the multiple apps that we're at, at Echo Underground Podcast. You can leave it on our Facebook as well. Same name, Echo Underground Podcast. We're also on Twitter. You could tweet at us at Echo U Podcast. And not only leave comments, but you could follow us. Please follow us so you can keep up to date with what we're gonna do next. Also, subscribe to the many apps that we're on. You can subscribe us or follow us on any type of site. iTunes, Stitcher, the whole nine. It's really hard not to find us, even on sites we didn't even know we're on.
Yeah.
And yeah. Also, kind of funny. I was telling Michael, someone's like uploading our stuff to other sites. So I don't know. I was
Thanks
thinking,
for the exposure.
yeah, I guess thanks. I don't know. We might have to stop letting people download if you're gonna do that. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So I know we have a couple things coming up. I'm gonna end this long podcast, but so we're gonna do Thor Ragnarok. That's next month. We're also gonna do Marshall. We're gonna do Shania Twain's new album after years of not having an album. She came out one for the first time in a long time. We're also gonna do Justice League, of course. I found out that Sam Smith comes out with an album next month, so that'd be cool. It'll be his sophomore album. Hopefully, as good as the first. I don't know if Michael has listened to the whole first album, but it was pretty good.
I certainly have not.
Of course. But that's why we have this podcast, to expose people to different, things. Music, TV shows, other things. Um, we probably will do Black Panther next year. The new film out.
Probably.
Okay, we will do Black Panther next year.
Excuse yourself.
Sorry. But that was probably. Does it come out? We'll probably do it for Black History Month. I feel like it's perfect time to do it.
Yeah, what's going on in Black History Month?
There you go. And we're gonna do Mindhunters, which will be our next podcast. I did start watching it. I knew it came out today. I don't know if Michael has.
I have not.
Okay, we'll see how this works. And Riverdale season 2. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. But if you have any suggestions of anything that we might need to check out, it doesn't have to be a TV show. It doesn't have to be a movie. It doesn't have to be an album. It could be a documentary. It could be a lot of other sources of media. We're willing to check it out. Just let us know and we'll look into it. We will take. I think we would take fan suggestions over our own because that's what you guys want to hear. We want you guys to stay interested, and we look forward to your feedback. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
See ya.
Bye.